you. Thank you. Hello, everyone. It's great to be here. And my name is Seun Alabi. So obviously, I'm not here to teach you anything. I know that this is a place full of professionals with years of experience. Probably some people are starters. And so we're just going to be having a good conversation around some of the things that bugged some of our minds when we started out. Thank you, Sorrow. You asked me a very relevant question, and you said something like, are we going to be doing a bit of Shakespeare this evening? And it was nice because that had some bit of influence on the title. But not to take too much of your time. My big transition, this is where I'm going to be talking about myself. Not intentionally, but I have to because of my topic. So I have about a decade of background in business development. And so I have done this talking to customers, stakeholder management. You know, I feel like I understand a lot of strategy, what a business wants to do now, what they want to do in the near future, and what they want to do in the long term, right? And so when I chose to transition into tech, I began to think, what do I want to do? Do I want to become a software engineer? I gave it a try, actually, and it was bad. And so I told myself, this is not for me. But I do want to go into tech. What should I do? So I said, okay, I'm a business person. What's the best way to go into tech? So like you would always do, I did a bit of a research. How can someone who is not technical become someone who does tech? So I saw a lot of nice, helpful things on YouTube. Someone says to me, YouTube is a full university. You can learn anything on it, right? So I did some research and I saw a lot of things you could do. I mean, literally, you could be an accountant and be in tech. You could be an HR person and all that. So I said, okay, great. What's the best role that fits me, that I can actually use my transition skills on? And then I came to products. It makes sense. We always have that conversation around it's the intersection between business, products, and customers. So I was excited. I went ahead to say, okay, like we all do, this is where I am, this is where I want to be. What's the gap? What's in between? And I realized, okay, I need some certification. I told myself that. And then I went ahead and did the usual product owner, scrum master. I was excited. I loved every bit of it. I did my exams, I passed, and I was looking forward to my first role. Little did I know that I was not prepared for what was coming at me, right? Being a business background person. And then fast forward, I get my first role as a product owner, and then I begin the meetings. Like I said, I'm not here to teach you about meetings and all that stuff. And then the meetings come, and then the developers begin, and they begin to speak. And I'm lost, and I'm really lost. And then I realized, there's a joke that says, it was at that moment I knew. I wouldn't say I'd messed up, but I knew I had a long way to go. So this is just an introduction to my presentation. So why does this matter? Because there's need for an alignment between the product and the development phase. Research says that 66% of new products fail within the first 2 years. These values could be different depending on where you're getting your research data from. And then another says that about 45% of the features that are built are actually never used. And so obviously it's very important for you to be in alignment as a product person with the developers. And we all know what Agile does. I won't tell you the principles and everything about it. We all know that. So the question then is, should a PO be technical, right? Like I said, I'm not teaching you what you already know. But please, with a show of hands, how many of you are POs here? Awesome. I kind of felt it. Maybe because you're sitting at the front row, I kind of felt that. Thank you. Please, show of hands. Don't put it down so fast. Yay. So I'm guessing everybody else are either Agile coaches or Scrum Masters or every other thing in between. All right, thank you. So we have not so many, but that's great. This will do. So we already know what we do, but majorly, I think our most important focus most of the time is to ensure that we consistently deliver value to our customers. I always add to the business as well, because whatever value we add to the customer must translate to the bottom line of the business that we're working with as well. So, of course, there are two major types. I've heard people break it down, but most often they do that with product management. So, but we're doing product ownership here for the most part. So basically, are you technical or are you not technical? By that, I don't mean do you have technical competence to do your job as a PO. I mean, do you have a background in engineering? So I would like to ask you, how many of the POs in the house have a background in engineering? Yay! Interesting. How many? Oh, interesting. All right, that's still good. So we have more technical POs here than the business ones. I am probably the only one. But yeah, I and many others, okay? I did a lot of conversations before coming here. All right, then. So we all understand that the technical PO already knows tech. They've built some of those things before, so they're very familiar. They really know what they're doing. They understand everything from the get-go. They engage sometimes in solutions and conversations. And of course, if they're not mature, there's a tendency that they will begin to meddle, right? And then the beautiful, amazing, non-technical peers like myself, we're very user-focused because, like I said, I'm from a business background. I'm all about the client, what they want, the outcomes that is very, very valuable to them. And of course, we always communicate business value. And then a lot of times we rely heavily on the development team for the feasibility and everything that goes into building. So industry research shows that more people from a non-tech background become POs than people from a tech background. Do we agree? Yeah?
Half and half.
Half and half? Okay. Okay. Well, okay. I do have research here that says more people, but that's fine. So let's give it a half and half. Yeah, it's fine. It's possible that that's also the case.
It's probably more likely I'm wrong.
Yeah, because from research and also from interactions, more people, personally. So again, I stand, this is from my perspective. It doesn't necessarily, reflect everything. But yeah, from research, more people from business or other backgrounds become POs than the ones from tech. So we have a case study. Someone like me, Alice. I'm Alice. I have a strong business background, but sometimes, or at the early stages, I fail to spot a technical blocker, right? So Alice may miss the backlog refinement depth. Sometimes maybe not too detailed in what she's writing. Maybe the stories are not imagined. She doesn't recognize that she needs to change them, and if the priority changes, she needs to do a bit of reworking and all that. So there's a bit of gap here and there. And then obviously developers are frustrated. And then feature delays happen, and then cost. Very important. One of the very important things about POs is that we are like the owners of the budget of the development, at least. And so cost is also impacted, right? And then we have another case study of Tom, like right here, who is a former engineer. So he already understands what to do. He knows everything about building. So sometimes he could be a bit specific about architecture and tell the developers on his team, the team where he is a product owner and not a developer, that this is how it should be built. And because, sometimes, interestingly, even though he's not the boss of them, they kind of feel the pressure, maybe because Roy is more experienced and all that. And then they feel disempowered. They're not very motivated. Innovation is slowed. And sincerely, I've been in this kind of place before where everybody was just really unhappy, right? Really seriously unhappy. And sometimes even the focus on what the user or what is very valuable to the user gets underplayed, right? Okay, and then here we have the balanced person, or at least who strives to be balanced. This is a Sarah. She focuses on outcomes and asks the right questions. So because Sarah is from a business background, she tends to ask a lot of questions. She's not really trying to show that she knows everything. She, like me, would go to the meetings with pen and paper and write every technical word that she heard. And then, well, I don't have to go back later. Immediately, as they're making that conversation, I'm checking it out so that I already understand what they're trying to say. So I had to do a lot of reading. I had to do a lot of questioning. I had to do a lot of one-on-ones, where I would actually just sit them down and say, I really need you on this team. and I need you to really help me out. We're going to help each other out. I'm more from the business side, but I need your help here. So that's Sarah. And then there's Alaba, who focuses on outcomes. But because Alaba is also very technical, Alaba is mature and has learned to delegate without interfering with what the developers are building. So she's staying in her role as a product owner. She's explaining and ensuring that she passes across the value or the outcome that the customer wants to see. And then she's trusting the team to build the right way. All right. So obviously what happens is that everybody in the team trusts her. Everybody offers help where needed. One of the things that I'm very key on within a team is that we are all responsible, I would say accountable, for whether we fail or we pass. So that way, nobody drops the ball. It's not the fault of the PO. It's not the fault of the Scrum Master. Neither is it the fault of developers. If something goes wrong, it's everybody's fault. And so it means that early on during the sprinting, if there's a problem, somebody is asking, I need help. And whoever can solve that within the team comes to their rescue. That's the case of a balanced PO. All right, before we go ahead, do you want to share, being a technical, how was it for you? Just 1 minute.
Yeah, well, I think I had the advantage that I was a very bad developer. So okay. I think I knew enough to be able to ask questions, but probably not competent enough to put my own influence on it.
Oh, nice. Thank you for that feedback. Right?
I'm going to say I thought all developers, it's good that you've admitted you're a bad developer. No developers normally do that. I've built lots and lots of things, worked in lots and lots of teams, and I think that probably early in my career I thought, I can do all sorts of cool things. But as time goes on, you realise you can't really do cool things on your own because you just don't have enough horsepower. So it's great to work in a team. You can produce things that you really genuinely can be impressive or, quite exciting. For me, it became a role of kind of running teams, and beneath it all is my desire to build cool things, really.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you very much. So beneath it all, probably refers to say cool things that customers want to use. Yeah?
Yeah.
Valuable. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much for the feedbacks. Of course, striking a balance is about being as you have all the horizontal skills, all the wide skills around the things, around the product, marketing, design, and every other thing. And also you have the depth that is required as you understand product, in the sense that if you were picked today from anywhere and taken to be a product owner anywhere else, at least you understand what it is to be a product person. And you can learn about the industry and every other thing later. But yeah, being really T-shaped makes you more balanced. You have an idea, just enough knowledge of what is required in all the other things, while you have, of course, mastery in what it is to be a product owner. So also research says that, there was a time when product owners were more sought after just for prioritization of backlogs and all that. But a lot of recruiters now or businesses are looking for strategic product owners, which is very important. So, and I just said that because if you were technical, I don't know if you had that experience. I used to work in telecommunications, and the engineers were there. Well, no shade on the engineers. They were terrible with customers. They just didn't know how to communicate. So always the salespeople had to come in between. Even when you escalated issues, it was a wrong idea to have an engineer speak to a customer. So we always said back then, that a sales engineer is just a perfect balance. So just the same way here, having an understanding of strategy, business, marketing, and a few of those things, to a good extent, makes you a better and a balanced technical PO, while also having a good understanding of requirement or required technical competence, makes you a balanced business or non-technical PO. Okay, so I did some surveys. Please, everyone help me give a round of applause to Amy. Oh, please. Thank you, Amy. Amy was so helpful. She helped me to post it in one of those product owner communities that she was in, and feedback was amazing. Thank you so much. That meant a lot to me. And thank you, everyone that also participated in the service, because I just didn't want to base this on theory. and also my personal experience and every other thing. I wanted to really hear people from the field. They kind of corroborated what I had also learned in previous time. Do not mind the color. Technical background was supposed to show in a different color, but just overlook it. All right. So it shows here that the people on the survey, obviously, we had more people who had business backgrounds than those who had engineering backgrounds, and for them, positively, there was a good positive impact for those who had a good technical knowledge as well. And for those who didn't have it, they said in their words that it was harder to gain the trust of the team. But something that was very common in all that they said was that they continued to speak and to ask questions. Almost 95% of them said, I ask questions, I do one-on-ones, I speak to the team, and I'm very open about what I know and what I don't know. And I also feel that something that buttresses the point is when the team knows that they are collectively responsible for the success of what they're building, they understand the impact of what they're building on the customer. So basically saying that if I'm writing, for example, as a PO, I'm writing my backlog, I need to kind of be detailed enough to let them see the impact of what that backlog will do for the customer. Obviously, I'm letting them know what they're building, why they're building it, because an understanding of that will help them to build better. And very importantly, they spoke about being able to trust their teams. Those that were technical, they had to learn to delegate and just stay away from trying to tell them how to do what they needed to do, because POs, we don't tell people how to do what to do. We tell them why they need to do what they're doing, what is the best outcome for, or the most valuable outcome for our client. And I always say, and for the business, that's the strategic part of it. You have to align every time. And so, so maturity, delegation, personal development, and curiosity, adaptation as well. Because if you were technical, you need to adapt to the business side. If you were not, you need to do the vice versa. All right. All right, so these are my own personal deductions. There is no universal answer. Technical awareness is a differentiator. It's not compulsory. I will use that word. But very importantly, you should build strong strategic relationships, or skills rather, and analytic skills. And for me, I think it's very good to understand the business that you're working for, their mid-term, long-term, and short-term goals. And also, I used to do that when I was an account manager. I would speak to my clients and understand what they wanted to do in the future, the nearest future, so we could build around it. So also doing that helps a lot. It also helps you to align both sides as well. And then, of course, continue to be curious and adaptable on both sides. Ask the right questions. Not just asking questions, but asking the right questions. And then always focus on delivering more and more value to your customer and revenue to your business. And then, of course, teamwork and collaboration. All right, so be technical enough to ask the right questions, be business-minded enough to understand the import of your work on your business, on your customer's bottom line, and the impact on your business, and be focused enough to empower your team. All right, thank you very much. If you have questions. Thank you.